the next day you can have a restaurant that's the hot space because you changed your chef or you did something different or whatever it was, you cleaned up the mice. What you do.
That may be true, but it's still gonna draw somebody's attention.
It may draw attention. It may draw attention, and the IRS is using AI now to look at things a little bit better. So I don't know the answers to those questions. It's not my field, but I would say that that's the only way they're going to. Like my restaurant didn't report, my restaurant bar didn't report, and they had to basically dismantle the place. You know what I mean? Like sell it in its component parts. And I think he still kept the building, but it becomes very problematic in the restaurant industry unless you're selling to your chef. You know what I mean? Like if you're selling to your internal guy and they really know what's going down, they know the real story.
If you're trying to get financing,
Forget it.
You're gonna
You
have
get
some
zero. You get almost nothing. It's just one of the things the banks. I'm doing a sale at the Wycombe House in just outside of Newtown, Pennsylvania right now. It's closed down, and that's fine. The bankers actually came on site and walked around. They were impressed with the place, but they still want to know what was previous sales, what volume can this place do, that kind of thing. And luckily, we had previous sales, so it's pretty good. And the guy actually reported all of it. So that made it a lot more palatable for the lender, right? When it becomes less palatable for the lender, you might have to go to a harder lender. What happens? Your interest rates go up.
Is the line that much on the taxes, and it just makes me think what else it might.
What I suggest, in all honesty, is if they can raise these numbers. And I don't know anything about the IRS risk. I can't speak to that. But if they could raise those numbers, they would probably get more out of the sale in 3 years than they would in the savings and taxes.
Yeah.
If that answers your question.
Yeah, no,
That is
totally
my
agree.
honest professional belief.
I have a question pertaining to that, but it's really for Joe. Could they go back to them 3 years?
Oh, yeah.
Or
They can go
there's
back.
income that we did
It's
not.
basically considered fraud, so they can go back to fraud however long they want to. Normally, there's a 3-year look back though. Yeah, but when it's considered fraud, definitely under reporting of more than 20% of the income, they can go back whenever.
I didn't know they could go back whenever. I
They
thought it was
can't.
7.
They can.
Okay.
If it's fraud, there's no statute of limitation on fraud.
Okay, very good.
Yeah, so they can go back as long as they want to.
Good. All right, anybody else? Come on, somebody new here.
With a lot of people like working out of home type of thing, and they're doing that from a residential property, is there a certain like number of like, let's say you keep adding additions to your property, does at some point it cross over from residential to commercial, and or is it like the mixed option? Like how does that stuff kind of work?
Well, you said something that confused me, so I'm going to ask you,
Sure.
what do you mean by additions? I mean, all right, so let's say you're a photographer.
Sure,
and you
yeah.
put a
I
photographic
put a studio.
addition.
I put a studio attached to the property
Stop,
type of thing. Yeah.
Stop. So let's just talk.
Okay,
Say that.
yeah.
You put a studio on the property, you have to get zoning for that studio.
Yeah.
Now the town looks at you as a mixed use.
Okay.
You follow me?
Yeah. Yeah.
Now you change to a home, basically a home office or a home.
Not really.
It depends.
It goes to a commercial policy.
It may go to a commercial policy, but I'm saying from a zoning point of view,